Hello everyone, this is Pastor Jeremy. I just wanted to give you an update on the things that are going on here at Advent. As you may or may not know, on Friday morning we had a staff member wake up with body aches and a fever. They did not know if it was COVID or something else, so in consultation with their doctor they did go and get a COVID test, and that COVID test ended up being negative. They had a bacterial infection and was given antibiotics which took care of the issue. But due to that and not knowing the test results and not knowing what it was going to be, we suspended in-person worship this last weekend. It also made us to reevaluate in-person worship. We had our council meeting on Monday night where we talked about this topic. Obviously, when we started to plan for in-person worship about a month ago, our belief and our hope was that our cases of COVID would be going down in our area and in Florida in general. Unfortunately, that has not been the case. They have gone up and not had a downward turn quite yet. There was also a really good article in Florida Today this last week. The link should be in wherever you're watching this video, either on YouTube, our website, or our Facebook page. I invite you to go and read that article. All the council members read that article as well. We had lots of discussion about this topic of what we should do here at Advent as it pertains to in-person worship in the future. Due to the safety and health and well-being of all people, not only those coming to in-person worship, but us pastors leading worship and any volunteers and musicians that are there leading worship as well, the council did vote on this topic. And they voted to suspend in-person worship and to reevaluate on a monthly basis, either before or on our monthly council meeting. Our next council meeting is Monday, August 17th. The vote was 7 yeses, 1 no, and 1 abstain. Obviously, we are taking this issue very seriously, and these are very difficult decisions for us to make. And I want you to know that no one wants in-person worship more than I do, than Pastor Rick, than Pastor Dave, and the staff. This is what we are called to do by God, and this is what we love to do. We miss seeing you. We miss worshiping with you in person. We miss the conversations, sharing our lives and faith together, face to face. I know other churches are making other decisions and doing other things, but we need to make the best decision for us here at Advent and those who call Advent their faith home. I do know for a fact that there are other churches around our area that are making the same decision. There are churches that have been having in-person worship for a while. There are also churches who started to have in-person worship, and then someone got the virus, got COVID-19, and they had to suspend worship, in-person worship, and then they restarted, and then another person got it, and then they shut it down again for 2 weeks and trying to restart. Again, myself, Pastor Rick, Pastor Dave, and the council do not believe that is the best decision for us to make here at Advent. And the best decision is to suspend in-person worship for the time being. I personally understand where everyone is coming from. In my personal life, I have a wife who is a 4th grade teacher in the Brevard Public School System. I have a daughter who's going to be a senior this year in high school at Viera High School, and a son who's going to enter his 3rd year at UCF. I've been part of all the discussions about school starting, about going back to work, and about in-person worship and everything else that you can imagine. I'm anxious. I'm worried. I'm a little upset about the fact that it isn't what we have lived and grown to know and love, that we're not able to do the things that we so desperately want to do. I want more than anything for my daughter to have the senior year that she wants fully. She's in choir. She's in theater. This is what she's passionate about. This is what we feel that God has given her the gifts and the abilities to do. But yet, it looks like it is not going to be what it could be. Of course, she's making the best of the situation, as everyone is trying to do. But please know, I know the pain just like you are experiencing the pain. I know that these milestones, that these amazing moments are going to be different, and some of them are going to go away, and they're never going to be able to get them back at this time and this place. And we mourn for those losses. But together as a family, we are doing the best we can to support and love each other. And again, for us and my family, the most important thing is our health and well-being. Now here at Advent, because of suspending in-person worship, Pastor Dave, Pastor Rick, Joy, our Director of Youth and Family Ministries, and with guidance from the Church Council, have come up with some new and different ideas when it comes to worship recordings and other faith formation activities as well. If you've been following our worship recordings, we have been recording in the Suntree Chapel. And the reason we were doing that is we wanted an atmosphere that we are worshiping with you in your home together. And that was wonderful and great for the time that we did it, but we feel it is time to do something different and new for our worship recordings. So we are going to move to do our worship recordings in our Suntree Sanctuary. And it's going to be having a feel of, it's from the worshiper's point of view. So as if you were there worshiping in person, what will you see? You'll see singers up front for a contemporary service. You'll hear the organ and see the stained glass and see the altar for the traditional services as well. We are working on also having slides that will come up on the video so that you can sing along and also respond with the liturgy for our traditional services. We're going to continue to offer 3 different worship recordings: a contemporary Suntree service, a traditional Suntree service, and a traditional Melbourne Beach service. Each service will have Suntree or Melbourne Beach people in it, and for the particular service, like for Melbourne Beach, when Pastor Rick will be preaching, and for Suntree, most of the time Pastor Dave and I will be preaching as well. We hope this new and different format will bring a new look to our worship recordings, and that you can feel like you are truly and fully worshiping with us in the sanctuary. We are also offering a podcast. I'm going to be doing daily devotions starting August 1st. We have a new podcast station, and I will be sending more information about where to get that podcast. I'll be putting it on our website, our Facebook page, and our YouTube channels as well. I'll be doing live podcasts for my daily devotions, and then once they're done recording, they'll be available for people to listen to as well. We're also putting all of our sermons on that podcast channel as well. And those will all be available, again, on our website on our Facebook page and our YouTube channel. And we hope to do even more with this podcast channel, have live podcasts and interviews with different people and have different faith formation opportunities through this. Again, look for more information to come on how to connect to those podcasts. We'll continue to do our Bible studies that we have offered on Sunday mornings, on Tuesday evenings, and Wednesday evenings. We're looking at doing some different worship as well. Maybe some of the evening prayer that Pastor Dave did last month. And maybe even an outdoor worship or two when it's not so hot out. Our Director of Youth and Family Ministries, Joy, is also working on connecting to families and youth through resources, through what confirmation might look like, and Bible studies and youth group and all those wonderful ministries. We're going to try to continue and will continue to offer as much as we can to connect you and your family together in faith. There's a Bible verse that has been speaking to me during this last few months about this whole pandemic, and I'd like to share it with you today. I'm going to read out of the Message, which is a translation as the Bible written more like a novel in today's language. It's Romans chapter 8, verses 26 through 28. Again, that's Romans 8, 26 through 28. It says this: "Meanwhile, the moment we get tired in the waiting, God's Spirit is right alongside us, helping us along. If we don't know how or what to pray, it doesn't matter. God does our praying for us and in us, making prayer out of our wordless sighs. God knows us far better than we know ourselves and keeps us present before God. That is why we can be so sure that every detail in our lives of love for God is worked into something good. That's why we can be so sure that every detail in our lives of love for God is worked into something good. Now, I can't tell you what the future holds, but I can tell you that myself and the rest of the Advent staff will do everything we possibly can do to continue to help you connect to God and each other. And as anxious, as frustrating, as sad, and as painful as things are right now, I know God has amazing plans for us and God's church. I know that you are tired. I know that you are tired of waiting. I'm tired of waiting too. But together, we can be the best followers of Jesus Christ for the sake of the world that we can be. And with God's guidance, through the power of the Holy Spirit, we can work together to make something good out of all of this. And please don't hesitate to contact me, if you need someone to talk to, if you need someone just to listen, if you have a great idea about how we can connect you better to God and to each other, that's what we are here for. That's what I'm here for. And I know the same can be said for Pastor Dave, Pastor Rick, and Joy, and the rest of our staff. We want everyone to be safe, everyone to stay healthy, and everyone to continue to connect to God in their own way. Thank you, and God bless.